What's going on, YouTube boxing community? Well, I've been watching a few videos, seen a couple things going on. What I've noticed is that it seems like Bob Arum had a plan. That dude is a very smart man, He's extremely smart. And I commend him for being smart. I mean, I never knock nobody their way of making their bread or making their money. You know what I'm saying? And what I seen was, Bob Arum has been setting up this plan for a while now. He knew eventually something had to go down with his prize fighter. Something had to give with his main golden egg, Manny Pacquiao. Either he was going to feed him to Floyd, or somebody else was going to come in and knock his head off. So he was already prepping, because he knew, because he's a promoter. Yeah, he's a promoter, but he's been around the game for a while. He knows certain fighters, their flaws and their lifespan. So he knew that Pacquiao brought in all the Filipino fans, which is a big market in boxing. The Filipino fans are a big market. Like, if you have a Filipino fighter that's successful, and because they don't have a lot of people to look up to in the Philippines, so if you have somebody that's successful, they all jump on that, because it's understanding, just like everybody, we used to be like that, way back in the day when we had nothing and we had somebody, who comes up the ranks and is successful, then we jump on the bandwagon. Same thing with Filipinos. And what he did was, while Pacquiao was already up there, he knew Pacquiao had a shelf life. His shelf life was close to being expired. So he started another fighter, which he was bringing up. I mean, Pacquiao is hype, but he did his thing, but it is hype. And Bob Arum knew he had a shelf life. He knew. That's why the Mayweather fight never happened. He knew if he fed him to Mayweather, it'd be over. He kept circling around that fight to keep the shelf life a little longer. But meanwhile, knowing this is happening, he was building up another fighter. I consider the fighter hype. You might not, but I consider Nonito Donair a hype. He was building this guy up, meanwhile knowing full well that Pacquiao's shelf life is close to being expired, because eventually he had to put him in there with somebody. Somebody he had to put him in there with to really, a real fighter. And he couldn't get away with the draining anymore, because it was being made public. He couldn't drain people no more because everybody started to notice that. So he had to get him in there with a real fighter. So he started building up Nonito Donair, hyping him up. I think Nonito Donair is really hyped. Most people might think it's not. I mean, that's your opinion. But my opinion is he's a really hyped fighter. I think, people might think, oh, you're hating on Nonito Donair. I'm not hating on this dude. I don't hate on no man who's making money. You understand? To me, it's a beautiful thing if you're making money. If you're doing your thing, no matter how you do it, you make your money, that's beautiful. I'm speaking as a boxing fan right now. As a boxing fan, I think he's being moved along a certain way. I have not seen Nonito Donair. The only slick fighter I seen him fight really was Matabula, which he peppered his face up. And Matabula I don't think he can punch at all. And I feel like Nonito Donair comes in at every fight at least 2 weight classes above these guys. When you look at them in the ring, these guys look like they had to. Some of them look like they had to lift weights, like Arce. He had to lift weights to get to that weight. And Donair looks like he's full, like his body's filled up. You see what I'm saying? Like, these guys look like they're skinny and they're tiny, and Donair looks full. Looks heavier. And another thing is, he's fought these guys that he fought, but who are these guys that he fought? Who are these guys really? Like, if you look at Donair's record, if you go look at, I don't know, I don't remember his whole record, but if I'm going from the top of my head, especially this year, they gave him this year Fighter of the Year, which in my opinion is freaking ridiculous. Just because he fought 4 people this year, that makes him Fighter of the Year. Who are these 4 people he fought? An old Arce who looked like he had to kill himself in the weightlifting room to make that weight. His legs all skinny, his top all ripped up. Who a skinny ass Montabula who actually peppered his face up. Who else? Like all these little dudes that he fought. I mean, if you want, to me, a Fighter of the Year is a guy who actually fights a notable fighter. Somebody who you can say, wow, that was a challenge for this man and he overcome it. Who did he fight like that? It's like okay, here's an example. You have to weigh it like a scale. Andre Ward fought this year the light heavyweight champion and knocked him down and pretty much humiliate this man. He made this man spew out of his mouth, I'm finished. I'm finished. That's what this man said out of his mouth. Do you think any of the 4 fighters that Nonito Donair fought together equal 1 Chad Dawson? That's my opinion. Do you think any of the fighters that he fought together, all 4 of them, equals 1 Chad Dawson in value, in quality? I don't think so. So why should we give him Fighter of the Year for fighting more people with less quality? Why is that? There's plenty of fighters out there that's been fighting, that's fought like 4 to 5 times this year, but they don't have a name, so they don't get Fighter of the Year. Marquez just had the most beautiful knockout this year, fighting a fight that most likely, if it went the distance, even no matter how much if he beat Pacquiao up, he would not win that fight. All the things stacks against him, and he's 39, pushing 40. So, tell me, is any of the guys Nonito Donair fought, all of them put together, do they equal 1 Pacquiao? I mean, to me, if quantity is the name of the game, then there's more guys out there who fought more times than Nonito Donair. You know? Shouldn't quality be what we're looking for? The quality of fighters, a fighter fights, and how he managed to beat those fighters? I'm just saying, man, it just doesn't make any sense to me. But I know people are gonna say, "Oh, you're racist. You hate Filipinos. That's why you're doing that." Well, good luck with that one. You know, I sit here, I'll make videos and I'll mention, like, they'll come up with my videos and say, "Oh, Mayweather this, da 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 da." I'm not talking about Floyd. When I talk about Floyd, I talk about Floyd. Who cares what Floyd does? I really don't give a shit. That shit don't bother me. Floyd Mayweather needs to fight Canelo. If he fights Robert Guerrero, then he's a bitch. He's not a bitch, but he needs to fight, excuse my language, but he needs to fight Canelo. That's his next opponent that he should be fighting. You know, and I said it in one of my last videos, man. I told Floyd, and I called him out. I said, Floyd, you need to fight Canelo. Anyways, like I'm saying, man, it seemed as if once you knock a fraud down, Bob Arum already had a safety net to catch all the fans. You see what I'm saying? Once Pacquiao got knocked down, boom! Nonito Donair Fighter of the Year. Does it seem odd to you? Pacquiao gets knocked out, Nonito Donair gets Fighter of the Year. Boom. Right off the bat. When I think there's more deserving fighters out there who should get a Fighter of the Year. You see, it's like a safety net. He knows. Well, he knew eventually something was gonna happen. So he kept Nonito Donair out there waiting, just waiting. Knockout happens, boom. Oh man, we gotta get Nonito out there now. So he puts Nonito out there. I'm sure Bob Arum has something to do with the Fighter of the Year awards, because these awards are bogus anyways. They gave Pacquiao a few years back Fighter of the Decade. Come on, man. I mean, Fighter of the Decade, really? You give a guy a fighter of 10-year span when really he wasn't doing much. Only 2 or 3 years of that 10 years. If you're going 10 years, but you give this man 10-year span, so you're going back to 2000. You're going back to 2000 to 2010. You give this man fight of the decade in 2010, and you going back to 2000. Those awards are bogus, man. 2000. Holy crap. So you'd have to have a fighter dominating from 2000 to 2010 for you to give him fight of the decade, right? I could have sworn Eric Morales schooled him within that time. I could have sworn he had a draw with Marquez. But, I mean, I'm not going to say anything. Because to tell the truth, I think Pacquiao got a better resume than Nonito Donair. I'm dead. I think he got a better resume than Nonito Donair so far. Donair sitting here. You're supposed to be the top guy in your weight class. Supposedly pound for. You see how HBO always keep mentioning, oh, he's so great. You can never find nobody like Donair. He's pound for pound. They're building him up. They're building this dude up to next. He's gonna call out Mayweather next. Watch. He's gonna call out Mayweather. It's gonna be classic if he does. It'll be classic. I'm just joking though, but it'll be classic if he did. Probably call out Broner. But this guy's in the weight class. You're the top guy in that weight class, and you're the best fighter. They're putting you pound for pound and best fighter in the weight class, but you haven't fought the most dangerous people in that weight class. Well, I don't know who's the most dangerous people to most of the fans out there, but I can tell you my list of the people in that weight class I think he ducked. With the easiest of them all, which I think he could win that fight, is Rigo. I don't know why he's ducking Rigo. I think he could win that fight, but I think Rigo will give him some problems. But there you go. He's not fighting Rigo. Another one, Abner Mares. What happened? How come you ain't fighting Abner Mares? How come you don't call the dude out? How come when Max Kellerman questions him about these dudes, he's flip-flopping? You know, it's kind of weird to me. I think Abner Mares beats him. I think he could beat Rigondeaux. But I think Rigondeaux will give him trouble. I'll tell you another fighter he ain't gonna fight. Any boxing fan who actually watched those divisions will know who I'm talking about. Alexander Batkin. If you don't know who this guy is, go find out who he is. Alexander Batkin is a straight boxer. He doesn't have any power, but what he does have is boxing skills. He's hard to find. He will box you all night. He's not going to be the guy trying to rush into you so you can land your counters. No, he's going to lay back and jab your face in, unless you come in after him. Those are the type of guys I'd like to see Nonito fight. A guy like that. A guy like Alexander Batkin. But they won't put him in there with Alexander. I put anything on it. They'll never put him in there because Alexander doesn't have a name. I think he's worthy. In my list, he's one of the top 5 pound for one top 5, not pound for pound. One top 5. What is it? Bantamweight, super bantamweight, whatever it is. At 122, I think he's one of the top 5 guys or top 6 guys in that division. And Nonito being as big as he is, you figure that he'd move up and fight guys like Salido or Wanma or Vasquez. But he's not gonna move up. I don't think they're gonna. If he does move up, he's not gonna go for these guys. They're gonna put him against other guys, or unless these guys suffer crucial losses or something bad happens, that's the only way I see him fighting those guys. I don't see him, and I know this guy looks like he walks around at least 148, 147 pounds. This guy should be fighting at 135, but he won't go up there. No. Nope. These guys are not going to go up to 135. Why? Because at 135 sits a monster. There's this monster sitting at 135. And this little monster sitting up there, people want no part of. The only reason why some people will fight him is because they can get a big payday. They don't mind taking that loss if they're going to get paid. You know? But in that 135, he's not going up there anytime soon. You know, the only credit I give Nonito donair is that he tests 24/7 for PEDs and EPO and all that stuff. But there's still a little dark cloud on that because he's working with Victor Conte. Victor Conte is the biggest hypocrite in the world. Man. This guy is talking smack about Angel Hernandez or Heredia, whatever his name is. Talking about, oh, look at Marquez. Marquez got all ripped and he's in his corner and blah blah. But dude, weren't you working with Berto? And Berto tested positive? You know, I don't believe guys like that at all. Him, Bob Arum, all these funny guys, man. I don't believe nothing they say. And knowing Victor Conte, this is a guy who's a professional. He could beat any test. I think Victor Conte is a mastermind at beating tests. So that's why I don't. He himself admitted that you can beat these tests easy. He said it himself. You can easily beat them. And I think he knows how to beat those tests. But I mean, I'm not trying to pray in Nonito's thing because I truly believe Nonito is really trying to keep this thing clean, and I gave him props for that. You know, I just don't trust Victor Conte. I don't trust Bob Arum. People shady characters like that I don't trust, man. Like Bob Arum, I lied yesterday, but today I'm telling the truth. Come on, man. You gonna believe a guy like that after that? You don't believe these guys? You gotta watch for them, man. And Nonito, the credit I give him is because he's taking those tests 24/7. And Victor, man, another thing, man, Victor Conte, man, how dare you talk about Usain Bolt is on some pets because you saw some guy at the Olympics. Man, do you know what the advantages that Usain Bolt has in running? His legs are twice the length of everyone else in that field. For every step he takes, everybody else has to take 3. That's why it looks like he's not even running. He looks like he's jogging when he runs because he has to take less steps to get to where he's at. He's tall, lanky, and fast. You know? And the Olympic athletes get tested the way you want the boxers to be tested, right? That's what you want, right? Then how could he be failing? How could he be passing if he's on drugs, right? Since you're saying that, oh, the only way to do it is the real Olympic way, well, they're doing it. See, what people fail to realize is that drugs don't give you skill. Drugs don't give you genetic gifts. All drugs do for you is give you stamina, power, speed, and endurance. Drugs can't increase the length of your legs to make you take one step while everybody's taking 3. Drugs cannot make you shoot a 3-point shot better. Okay? Drugs cannot make you 7 feet tall so that you can dunk a ball like Shaq is. You know what I'm saying? Drugs didn't help Dr. J. Drugs didn't help Hakeem. You think drugs help Michael Jordan? That's called skill. It's like saying, oh, I took drugs and my math got better. I took steroids and I got better at math. You know, what you look for drugs is somebody who can throw a lot of punches, can throw a fastball, can hit harder. You know, these are all strength and speed and endurance and stamina things. That's what you look for when somebody's taking drugs. You don't look for skill. You don't look for skill. You think some guy who's on steroids on EPO, you think it's gonna make him a better chess player? You think it's gonna increase his skill? People make me laugh at that type of stuff, man. Victor Conte is a hypocrite, yo. And common sense should tell you. Common sense you could easily see how somebody can be on drugs. Technique is not a side effect of drugs or performance enhancement. Technique is not. If you have a fighter, let's take MMA for example, who's sitting there choking people out, using triangle chokes and rear naked chokes, and he's just using technique all night long, slipping and doing all that. That's not. How is that from drugs? I mean, he might take drugs to last longer. I mean, to hit harder or things like that. But his technique has nothing to do with the drugs. You know, athletes who take drugs I think people who take drugs are people who are in physical sports. You know, they're physical sports where they have to hit and run and run fast and stuff like that. Yeah, like Usain Bolt. But when somebody has a genetic gift, why would you need to take drugs, man? You have to really look at it. This guy, go look at Usain Bolt run. It looks like he's jogging. Somebody who's on drugs will be straining, putting the maximum output. This guy looks like he's jogging because he takes long strides. You ever seen a cheetah run? They take long strides. And that's exactly this guy was taking. He takes long strides with his long ass legs. I mean, for every one step he takes, you got to take 2 or 3. You know, but it is what it is. You know, I'm not 100% sure he's not taking drugs, but I'm just saying some things like, if you have any type of common sense, you could look at something and go, wait a minute, what the hell is this guy talking about? You know? But that's the whole point. He fools you guys into thinking that he's the master and knows everything. That's why he doesn't go ahead and says for sure, because he knows what he's talking about could be bullshit. You know? Anyways, man, let's get back to Nonito Donair. This man, I think, is a very big hype. I don't see what's so special about his boxing skills. Sits there, waits his hands down. He waits there with his hands down. I don't see a great jab. I don't see a jab to the body. I don't see good footwork, moving laterally. I don't see any of that. I don't see a boxer. I see a guy who sits there like a coiled snake waiting. Waits for you to throw a punch and then hit you with his counter. That's all he does. Sits there, waits, hits you with a counter. But because of his size, when he hits you, he hurts you. Size and speed. I don't see any technical thing going on here besides hands down, waiting. You saw how many times he got hit with Mathabula in the face? Oh, man. But hopefully, you know, next year they make the Amares Origo fight. I would rather see the Alexander Batkin fight, because I would love to see him against a guy who's not going to come in at him at all, and who will not lose his focus, who will sit there on the outside and jab, lanky guy, jab all night, whatever he has to do to stay away from you and pepper your face. But at least move up to 135 and fight somebody up there, somebody with some type of credibility. Bob Arum has this whole thing in his pocket, man. He's been doing it for years. And if you falling for his bull, that's you. You let yourself be fooled. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I'm not letting this dude fool me no more, man. This guy, he had this thing already. He had the safety net ready for these fans. So now this man went down, boom, the same moment. Not even a month later, fight of the year, Nonito Donair. He didn't even wait a month. It is what it is, though. Floyd Mayweather needs to fight damn Canelo Alvarez. If he doesn't, then, man, that's like the worst thing he could possibly do and go fight Guerrero. If he fights Guerrero, man, I'm I'm not saying I'm not gonna buy the fight just so I can watch him fight. I'll buy the fight to watch him fight, but that's just ridiculous. Why do you want to fight this guy? I don't care if he's calling you out or not. I do not care. Fight Canelo. I think that's the better fight to make. You know, a couple of these fighters, man. I don't know why Ward is fighting Kelly Pavlik. That's just that he's just gonna humiliate Kelly Pavlik. But whatever. I mean, if he was trying to make his money, make his money. And Broner, who else he's gonna fight now? I don't know. 135, exactly who is he gonna fight? But I say he stays there for a little bit. Maybe fight 3 more fights. 3 more fights at 135. At least get a belt or something. And then move up to 140. You know? Move up to 140. Timothy Bradley needs a fight. He definitely needs a fight. I don't know why people just leave him out. They're not even trying to let Timothy Bradley fight. Give the man a fight. He beat Pacquiao. Give him a worthy fight. Bob Arum just sitting there, leaving him in the shelf. Anyways, man, whatever happened to Joshua Clottey? Anybody knows what happened to Joshua Clottey? Anyways, man, if you know, I don't think I don't like Filipino fighters, man. If you guys know because I don't follow every fighter in the world, you know, so I won't know if you know any Filipino fighters that are good that you actually see some skill in. Let me know. I'll look him up, and I'll tell you if he's good or not. You know. Yeah, besides that, man, I really didn't see the point of giving this man Fighter of the Year right after Pacquiao. It's like he was waiting. Like as soon as he saw, oh man, we got to do something. Safety net. Catch all those fans that just dropped. Catch all of them. That greedy bastard, man. He's going to keep doing this to the Philippines, man. He's going to keep doing it. What they don't realize is they sitting there worshiping these guys and loving these fighters. What you don't realize is Bob Arum is playing you. When was the last time he brought Manny Pacquiao to fight in the Philippines? I'll wait. You know why he hasn't done that? Because he brings... Look, this is how economically a country grows. You have a product that you sell that people buy from you. Let's say let's take this boxing thing. You see, Manny Pacquiao comes to the States and fights. People buy pay-per-views in the States. People buy tickets. People from all over the world buy tickets to fly to the States, to stay in the hotels in the States, to pay for the stadium tickets in the States, to watch Manny Pacquiao. Who do you think is benefiting from all this money? The United States. We're making all the money. Pacquiao gets his cut. He goes back home. His measly $10 million or whatever it is that he makes. That can't help your country. Nope, it cannot. Why not one day why didn't he make a fight in the Philippines like the Marquez 4 fight? That could have easily gone to the Philippines. Muhammad Ali did it, but a lot of Filipinos don't like blacks. But look at that. Muhammad Ali fought in the Philippines. He fought in the Philippines. He's a black fighter. He could have said, nah, screw that. I'm not fighting for these Asians.